I'm training to run a sub 48 second 400, and this is my first episode of season 2 of the sub 48 project. This is an entire month of off-season 400 meter sprint training, incorporating plenty of speed work, lactate work, strength training, and more. And even though this is only month 1, I already started hitting some crazy PRs.
There's no shot that just happened.
On June 6th, I had my first max speed workout and started with a nice, thorough warm-up. I've promised you guys a video on warm-ups tons of times and still haven't actually done it. I apologize for that, but I have it on my list and I'll give you a basic walkthrough now. Basically, I start out with some general activities like jogging, backward running, side shuffles, and karaoke to raise my body temperature and get some blood flowing. This is probably the most important part of the warm-up in terms of injury prevention. I follow that with some breathing drills that use gentle tension in the hamstrings and obliques to teach the body to maintain a neutral pelvic position, which is vital for proper sprint form. After that, I do some all-fours hip movements, which do a lot to loosen up my hips and get me feeling ready to go. Some regular standing leg swings come next, hitting the sides, front, and back of the hips, and then I did a little more hip mobility work focusing on internal and external rotation. Finally, I did some form drills emphasizing the qualities I need for max speed sprinting, like tall posture, foot strike beneath the center of mass, and again, a neutral position for the pelvis. One of these was dribbles, which are probably my favorite drill for developing max speed technique. Then I did some build-ups, slowly approaching max speed, which probably ties for the most important part of the entire warm-up. And after all of that, it was finally go time, and I did my first 10-meter fly of the day. I could tell that after 2 weeks off, my body did not remember what sprinting was supposed to feel like. If I had to guess, I'd say that was pretty slow. Just ran 1.07, which is atrocious. One of the last weeks before my break from training, I ran a 30-meter fly in 3.07, which is averaging about 1.02, so I've got some work to do. My phone overheated, so I didn't get that rep. That's very unfortunate. I felt like I had to rush my transition on that one. It's like I needed more time to get up to speed. But I'm already going over 30 meters, so it seems like a stretch to extend it any further. Well, I think I ran a little faster than 1.07, but no way to know for sure. At least we got one reading, and I'll have plenty of other chances to run faster times. I finished the day with some 3 and 4 point starts. I couldn't get my acceleration angle right in the slightest, so I was doing the thing where I just push up and then I'm floating in the air and my legs kind of spin and don't do anything. So that was why I was hoping to do resisted sprints today to help get down that acceleration angle, but there were people at the track, so I couldn't really get the sled out onto the track. But now we know, next time definitely come when it's open, bring the sled, get down the acceleration angles, we'll be set. The next day I had some 200s. I'm roughly aiming for a 24.5 to 26.5 seconds, but until my 3rd month of training or so, I'm not going to be particularly concerned about the times I'm running. I am more concerned about slowly and safely building up to my goal volume so that I stay injury-free and can handle the workouts I'm planning for later in the year. Since it was my first day doing these, I only did 2 200s with a jog back or about 2-minute recovery. My jogs are usually actually faster than 2 minutes, so since it's early in the year, I allow myself to rest a full 2 minutes. Later on, that's something that I'm going to be cutting down. My first rep was pretty slow with a 27 mid because I really didn't remember what a fast, or I should say relatively fast 200 is supposed to feel like. I tried to make up for it and pushed quite a bit harder on the second, and I was much happier with my time. This session was way more fatiguing than I was expecting, but considering I was technically out of shape at that point, I am pretty happy with it. I went on vacation last week, so I spent the whole week hiking up very steep hills and climbing on rocks, and my calves and legs are completely destroyed. I have no idea how sprinting today is going to go. I really don't like sprinting when my calves are sore, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Today I have 2 to 3 max speed flies, and then a couple of resisted accelerations, and then a couple of unresisted accelerations, and then following that up with some strength training, focusing on long isometrics today. I don't know how it'll go with my calves feeling like this, but we'll see. It's also pretty chilly out here today, especially compared to what it has been. I'm used to 75 to 80 degrees. Right now it's only 60 or just under. So a little bit of a chilly day. We'll just have to see if I can get warmed up, feeling all right, and hopefully sprinting fast. For my max speed work, I've got some 10-meter flies. I'm gonna do rolling starts, hoping to hit faster than I did last week, which was a 1.07. Just hit 1.06, so already beating what I was running last week, and I feel pretty bad. My hamstrings are really sore and tight. Like I mentioned, my calves are sore from all the hiking and stuff that I did, but already running better times, so we'll see how it goes from here. That one actually felt a lot worse, but it was a little bit faster. I think I was thinking a little too much about my form, and it kind of threw me off. Next time, I'm just gonna let myself run. Unfortunately, that was another 1.05. That's all for the max speed sprinting today, but now I'm gonna do a couple resisted sprints and then a couple timed 10-meter starts. That felt like it did not look pretty, but what I'm doing is using weights heavier than I normally would for a resisted sprint, which makes it less sport specific and probably reduces the transfer to actual sprinting. But what the extra weight does is gives you more time to try to get your legs in the correct position. So the two things I'm really trying to focus on are keeping a low body angle, which I probably just did not at all, and also maintaining knee flexion. So I have a bad habit of, as I'm stepping down during acceleration, letting my knee flare out, and then I land here instead of getting a negative step back in behind my body by maintaining knee flexion. So again, I'm gonna focus hard on those two things. Bro, I just snapped the buckle on the sled. I've used a whole plate more than this before, but it just cracked right in half. I've never done these before, so I don't know what's good and what's bad. But I just hit 1.62 seconds, so doing one more of these and just gonna try to go a little faster than 1.62. Over the year, I'll make these longer, and then I'll also start doing them from 3-point starts and out of blocks. But for now, sticking with the 2-point. I also got super tense and I was clenching my jaw, so I'm gonna try to relax a little bit more on the next one. My positions that I was hitting and my power felt a little bit better on that one, around 1.58 instead of 1.62, so a little bit of improvement. Pretty happy with this session. Yeah, it was cool.
On this next Tuesday, I was already back with another 200 repeat session. It was exactly like the previous one, but this time around I tried to run each rep a little faster because I wasn't happy with my consistency last time. I felt a lot smoother and more controlled for these reps, even though it was absolutely boiling outside. I ran these with rolling starts because they're supposed to eventually simulate the last 200 of a 400, so I'm supposed to get good at holding this pace for an entire 200 meters, as opposed to accelerating hard, going over the speed I'm actually aiming for, and then kind of rolling my way through. With my new training philosophy, doing things as specific to the 400 as possible is the entire goal, so for me, a rolling start is definitely the best move. I ended up being really happy with my times here. 2 reps very low in the 25s is awesome as far as I'm concerned, and I will slowly increase the reps and the speed as time goes on. When I was done with the 200s, I started doing some long isometrics for strength training. These are very difficult but have some great benefits for athletes and especially for sprinters. That's why they're the main focus of my entire summer speed boost program, which helps athletes increase their speed in 3 months. After only doing them for a little while, I've noticed some big benefits, and I do specific movements to target the hamstrings, glutes, calves, quads, feet, and more. Isometrics take a lot of mental discipline though, because they really suck. The day after, I went to my local Y to swim for some cross training. I love swimming for this purpose. I think it gets blood flowing to your whole body, and the fact that it has zero impact is amazing for reducing the risk of overuse injuries. When I was done swimming, I did some pelvic positioning and breathing exercises and a little bit of mobility work to really try to loosen up my body and get me ready for the next 2 days of hard training. When it comes to recovery and days off, you often hear about professional athletes getting full-body deep tissue massages and how it helps promote recovery and relaxation for those athletes. When you look at the research on massage, there isn't a ton of evidence that massage increases blood flow or improves direct markers of recovery. However, there are a couple of really important things it does do. The first is that it helps to break up any clumps or knots in your fascia, which is a thin connective tissue that covers all of your muscles and may have an impact on athletic performance and injury risk. And the second is that it has a large impact on feelings of relaxation and well-being. In fact, it has been shown to decrease depression, stress, anxiety, and the perception of fatigue, while increasing mood and the perception of recovery, which may be just as important, if not more important, than changing physical markers of recovery, because it helps to regulate your nervous system. Unfortunately, if you're anything like me, you can't afford the $60 to $150 per week it costs to pay for deep tissue massages. But that is where certain tools like massage guns come in. Bob and Brad's company is one of the top health and wellness brands on Amazon, and they were nice enough to send me a massage gun for free to try out and tell you guys what I think. And for the price of only 1 to 3 weeks of deep tissue massages, you could pick up the Bob and Brad D5 Pro massage gun and have deep tissue massages anytime you want for the rest of your life. This thing is so far above and beyond the other massage guns I've tried throughout my time as an athlete. It features a motor that is up to 60% stronger than some of the other top massage guns on the market, and it is intended to get deep into your muscle tissue and connective tissues to alleviate knots and tightness for improved performance and recovery. It can handle up to 55 pounds of force before the motor stalls out, which allows for very forceful and effective massages. The D5 was created with a unique shape allowing for multiple different grips so that you can hit all the different muscle groups in your body without needing anyone else's help. It also has a very long battery life, so you never have to cut your recovery short, and it allows you to choose the intensity of the massage and comes with multiple pre-made modes for different purposes, such as for recovery and for muscle activation, where it cycles through different intensities automatically. On top of that, the D5 Pro comes with multiple different attachments for different purposes, so you can customize your experience to your needs. I've been trying out this massage gun for a while now, and I really do feel the difference between it and the other tools I've used in the past. The relief and relaxation are both more significant and last longer than with any of the other massage guns I've used. If you guys want to pick up the Bob and Brad D5 Pro massage gun, you can check the top link in the description and use the code listed there for 10% off.
All right, it is Thursday of week 2 of training. Today I have an acceleration and speed development day, but it's not exactly speed development, it's more like a speed endurance. So I'm gonna have a 200 with a slow walk back recovery, and then a 100 slow walk back recovery, and then a 50. And I'm gonna time all of those with timing gates. But before we do that, I'm gonna do some timed accelerations, probably a couple in like 3-point or block start position and a couple standing, I'll have to see. And afterward, I'm gonna go to the gym and lift. My hamstrings are very tight. I need to do some extra stretching.
I did do the timing with timing gates, but I didn't know that the app I use has a touch start feature, so every rep was done with about a 1.5 step run up.
Whoops. Ugh. That one felt pretty solid. That might beat times that I ran earlier this week. The two things I'm trying to focus on are keeping a low body angle and keeping knee flexion, just like last time. No idea if it works till I watch back the video, but doing my best. I came out at a pretty good angle, but I sort of stutter stepped or something. I had something weird. I think I wasn't expecting to get out so low, and so I sort of caught myself and tripped myself up a little bit. But I think if I start similarly and I really focus on keeping the knee flexion as I drive, that might actually be pretty solid. Oh, it actually was faster. And I stumbled, so that's a good sign. All right, going for about 90%.
This 200 at about 90% effort felt so slow. I struggle a lot with accelerating through the curve, and so I didn't reach a speed anywhere near my max. If you guys have any suggestions for improving that, please let me know in the comments. I think I just need to do a lot of acceleration work on the curves to get a lot of practice.
I have no idea what I just ran. Hopefully it's not super slow. 24:53, yeah, that's pretty slow. I thought about it a little bit more, and technically 24.5 is only about a second and a half off my 200 PB. So all things considered, if we're going for 90%, it's actually not too bad. It just would have been really nice to see 23 something, but it's okay. It's our first time doing any type of speed endurance work. Got a slow walk back recovery, and then I have 100. Hopefully it'll be a low 12 or faster. I'm still very out of breath, but time for 100 meter too.
This rep felt way better than the 200, and I didn't even get to do it with full recovery. I felt like I was able to get up tall with good pelvic positioning, and the time really reflected that.
Sure felt a lot better than the 200. Felt kind of strange. I'm not used to running that far. I literally have no idea if that was fast or not. It could be like 11.9 and I wouldn't be shocked, and it could be like 13 and I would not be shocked. Huh. It says 11.25. Now it's like a one-step rolling start because of my timing system. So that plays a role. And I mean, it could be less than 100, but I have the start on the 300 meter mark and I'm going until the 200 meter mark, which would mean it's 100 meters. So that one step maybe makes a bigger difference than I thought. That's a pretty good run. I don't know. All right, just 50 meters, last rep. I don't know if I'm running 11:25 fast, but I can tell I'm running much faster today than I have been on my other sprint days and stuff. I'm probably just finally getting used to working out again. Of course, I say that. This will be like an 8-second 50, but I think my body's finally adjusting. I feel really good right now. 579 for about 50 meters. So it'd be roughly 690 if it was a 60. Take away the rolling start, like 1 or 2 step rolling start. Probably call that like very rough guess, 7.2, 7.3, 60. Not too bad for my second week back. Nowhere near close to where I want to be, but I'm happy with that. It is Friday of week 2 of season 2 of the Sub 48 project. I'm feeling pretty good today. My legs aren't too unreasonably sore. Of course, I say that now. Once I start really running, I might change my mind. But today's session is a semi-specific 400 meter session. So I'm doing 300 repeats, aiming for roughly 400 meter goal time. So that means somewhere around the 47-second range with very short recoveries. So it'll be about jog 100 meter recovery, so about 1 minute. Today I'm only doing 3 of them, assuming I can roughly hit pace. But end goal will be doing about 9 of them. Pretty nervous to see how this is gonna feel. I'm gonna use timing gates again to make sure I get them at exact times for each rep. As I'm getting moving here, I'm actually realizing my calves and Achilles are quite sore right now, so definitely not gonna do anything too crazy today. I'm trying to be really careful with my training because I have certain big goal workouts that I want to complete in certain times, and I'm approaching things differently than I have in the past, where I'm doing really specific 400 meter work really early on to start building in specific endurance. Because obviously with max speed, running as fast as possible is the best thing you can do, and so it makes sense that for 400 meters, you want to run at your 400 meter pace as early as possible and consistently as possible throughout the whole year, so you actually get used to what the form feels like, the rhythm of it, and you develop the physiological qualities you need to sustain that speed. And so today's session is more of a cardio style session because the pace isn't that fast, but the recovery is short, and each rep will go as long as my actual 400 meter races will, but we're still not doing any over distance because I have no interest in running repeats that are over 300 meters long. I might hit around 350 or 360 later in the year, but those will be on hill runs. They won't be on the flat track. But the point I was trying to make is that as I'm scaling up to those big specific workouts, I have to be really careful that I'm not just slowly building up soreness and fatigue really early on, because I do not want to be getting any overuse injuries this year. So the earlier I can touch on a quality, but in a small amount, and then slowly build up over time, the better off I'll be injury-wise, which is also why I start doing max speed sprinting pretty much out the gate. Now, if I wanted to be even smarter, I would have given myself an even longer time to build up. So I would have started at max, maybe like 70 or 80% speed, and then just slowly worked that up over time as well. But at the same time, you always have the pressure in your head of wanting to be fit by the end of the year and wanting to hit certain workouts at certain times. Like, for example, Yesterday was basically a speed endurance session, and a strong argument can be made that you shouldn't be hitting speed endurance until your speed is at a place where you want it to be. But at the same time, I find some benefits from doing longer distance sprinting. I feel it gives me more time to focus on my form and focus on relaxation, whereas when you're only doing those short 10-meter flies, you can run fast, but it really does feel less applicable to the longer distances to me. So that's why I'm experimenting with a mix, where I'm trying to hit both things and just kind of scale them up over time, while hopefully staying injury-free.
I did some basic form drills to prepare myself for the 300s, starting with A skips and B skips.
I'm also going to try to nasal breathe most of my way through this workout. I don't think I'll be able to maintain it, but that's something I'm striving toward throughout the year, is becoming almost 100% a nasal breather for multiple reasons that I'm probably going to discuss in some upcoming videos.
I really didn't know what to expect heading into the 300s. For me, a 300 sounds like such a long distance, but I'm running it more than 10 seconds slower than my PR. It honestly brings me back quite a bit to my distance running days, and it's pretty satisfying to consider the fact that even though I feel out of shape right now, I'm still probably running this workout faster than I could have almost any other time in the past, maybe with the exception of my sub 2-minute 800 days. The pace felt pretty slow, but the short rests really catch up to you in a workout like this. It's difficult to breathe, and you can feel the acidity building up in your muscles rep after rep.
My pace range was 47 to 52, so landed really well in there. The short rests are crazy. That was a very hard session, and it's just gonna get worse as the year goes on. That's what we do. All right, guys, it is Thursday, June 20th. I have not trained at all this week for multiple reasons. First, I was out in the sun all day Saturday. Then I started getting sick on Sunday. Then on Monday, I worked outside in 90-degree heat for like 8 hours. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, I was still sick and sore. And so I just thought it was safer if I just took the time off. There's no point in coming out and trying to sprint all out and just tearing something or having my nervous system be completely fried and not get anything out of the workout anyway. I don't like taking days off, but it just seemed like the best thing to do. I'm still, as you can probably hear from my voice, kind of under the weather. But I'm gonna try to do a little bit of max speed sprinting today and just see how my body handles it. I'll keep it pretty light though. I'm just basically trying to set myself up so I can get back into the full swing of things next week and hopefully be healthy and feeling all right. But the idea will be doing some max speed work today and then maybe a little bit of endurance stuff tomorrow. I might go swim and do some recovery on Saturday, and then Sunday off, and Monday will be, again, fully back in the swing of things. Time to start warming up.
I get sick pretty frequently when I'm training consistently, and I still have no idea why. If any of you guys have any ideas, definitely let me know in the comments. My best guess is that it is caused by lack of sleep. This year I've averaged 7 hours of sleep per night, when I know for a fact I feel better on 9 to 10 hours of sleep. It is something I'm always trying to work on, and usually falling short.
I only ran a 1.1. It's atrocious, but that was kind of still a warm-up, so we'll see. The soreness and sickness are definitely getting to me. Only ran 1.08, but it felt way faster than the last one. But as long as I'm still getting faster, I'm gonna keep going. Probably get in at least 1 or 2 more, maybe 3 or 4, just it depends on the times. And then gonna do a little bit of isometric strength work afterward. Had another 1.08. Not happy with that at all. It felt way faster again and just got the same time, but I'm pretty sick. Haven't been training, super hot day. I'm cool with it, just getting back into the swing of things. About to do some strength work. Tomorrow, like I said, a bit of an endurance session, and then I'm actually gonna lift and swim on Saturday. And hopefully that'll set me up well to get right back into a full solid week of training, progressing along just like I was next week.
Another isometric session left me absolutely cooked. I have a whole video on strength training for sprinters that is going to be posted later this week, so if you guys are interested in that, make sure you keep an eye out for it. Here is some rare footage of me actually training my upper body. The next day, I was too fried to run my planned endurance session, so I decided to do some barefoot 100-meter strides in the field instead. I ran down at about 70% effort and jogged back for 2 sets of 4, breathing only through my nose the entire time. I enjoy sessions like this quite a bit. They feel restorative and beneficial without breaking you down and adding to fatigue too significantly. When I came back on Monday, things started getting crazy.
Alright guys, it is Monday the 24th. Just got through a warm-up and then did my first rep, although it was technically still kind of a build-up because I wasn't fully warm. Some updates, I'm still kind of sick, but feeling a decent amount better. My diet's been really good, but my sleep hasn't been great, so definitely not operating at 100%. And even though I've had the last 2 days off, for some reason my calves are super sore. No idea what's going on there, but I already ran a 1.06, so I'm feeling good about today. Hopefully I'll be able to get down close to the 22 mile per hour barrier, maybe like a 104. Be really happy with a 1.03, but we'll see. I'll give it my best shot. There's no shot that just happened. I felt really good. I was like, I had to run faster than 106 that time, but I don't know what it was. I just ran 1.02, which means I tied my all-time PR on like my 3rd week training, I think. Might be 4th, but I've been sick and been off and everything, so I was not expecting that in the slightest. I'm gonna try to check what the exact decimal points were, because technically my best ever is 1.011, but this is just showing 1.02, so I'll check the decimal, see what it was. I forgot to set it to actually start the next rep, so I can't check the decimals of what I just did, so I'm just gonna have to hope I do it again, and then I'll check the decimals on the next one. Either way though, I'm stoked about a 1.02. You will never guess what I just ran. I just ran 1.007. So it's a 1.01, and I opened the decimals 1.007. That is a PR by 0.004, I think, which doesn't sound like much, but it's like the 3rd or 4th week of training this summer. I've been sick. I was not expecting this at all. I'm so stoked right now. This is awesome. Hopefully I can keep it up. Just ran 1.008 that time, so definitely calling it quits for max speed for the day. I'll probably do a little bit of acceleration work after, but I was getting really down with being sick and the times I was running and everything. Just didn't seem like I was heading in the right direction. So I'm like over the moon that I just had a breakthrough day like this. Seems like it was completely out of nowhere. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was the long isometric holds I've been doing, or more likely just my body getting used to sprinting again slowly over time, but I'm so happy with how this went. My phone overheated, so I'm just gonna do some 2-point starts with no timing. Just gonna do 3 or 4 of them. Then my isometrics, and then I'll be done for the day. I was way too tense that time. Next one, I'm just gonna focus on being relaxed. That'll be my last one for the day. I'm just keeping it light, and then the isometrics will be nice and brutal. And then we'll come back tomorrow for a 200 day. The most we've done so far is 2 200s, but this time I'm gonna try to do 2 by 2. So it'll be a 200, then 200 jog recovery, and then another 200. And then I'll have probably 5 to 8 minutes, and then I'll do the same thing over again. 200, 200 jog, 200. The goal by the end of my preparatory phase is to be able to do 5 by 200 with 200 meter jog recovery. And then the preparatory phase is just kind of getting me ready for the stuff I want to do in my real foundation building phase. So then in the foundation building phase, I'm hoping to get that up to 6 by 200. And I'm giving myself some leniency right now, not having to hit the times dead on. But then by the end of the base building phase, all of those should be at my goal finishing 400 meter pace. So that'd be about a 24.5. That's what I'm hoping for. If you guys want to see a whole video breaking down why I'm structuring my training how I am and what exactly I'm doing, let me know in the comments.